Hi everyone! Welcome back to Cruise Blog. This is Haley, and today we're going to talk about 10 things that I like more about Royal Caribbean than Norwegian Cruise Line. Let's get to it. Two of the biggest names in the cruise line industry are Royal Caribbean International and Norwegian Cruise Line. These two cruise lines have a lot of similarities, but they also have a lot of differences that prospective guests should consider. I recently was able to put these differences to the test after I sailed with Norwegian Cruise Line for the first time last summer, and I cruised with Royal Caribbean for the first time this past January. Come along with me as I explore my favorite things about my previous sailings with Royal Caribbean International and how some of them compare to my experiences with Norwegian Cruise Line. Number 1. Perfect day at CocoCay. I recently visited Royal Caribbean International's private island, Perfect Day at CocoCay, for the first time in January. Along with the staff from Cruise Blog, I was able to experience the exclusive beach club area of CocoCay. This beautiful private area of the island featured an environment of relaxed luxury. In this region of Perfect Day at CocoCay, guests can find a beautiful outdoor restaurant, over-the-water cabanas, infinity pool, bar, and a stunning white sand beach with turquoise water making waves in the surf. Upon disembarking from the ship, guests are greeted by bright colors and fun music as they walk onto the island. A big perk of Perfect Day at CocoCay is that all Royal Caribbean ships can dock directly up to the private island. Currently, all Norwegian Cruise Line ships must use tender boats in order to ferry passengers over to their private island, Great Stirrup Cay. After crossing the bridge over to the island, guests to Perfect Day at CocoCay are greeted by lively signs pointing in every direction. As I made my way over to the beach club, I noticed copious amounts of beach access, with complimentary loungers, pool areas complete with swim-up bars, and a huge aqua park featuring large water slides capable of providing limitless thrills. Royal Caribbean's private island has everything that the entire family could desire for a perfect day in the Caribbean. Last August, I greatly enjoyed my time spent on Great Stirrup Cay, which is Norwegian Cruise Line's private island. I did notice, however, that at this time, the amount of activities for guests on this island seemed rather limited when compared to Perfect Day at CocoCay. Number 2. Main dining room food. Royal Caribbean does a great job at providing an expansive amount of diverse foods for every taste to its passengers. Recently, Royal Caribbean changed the menus they feature in the main dining room. These menus have replaced the tried and true menus that guests have loved for years. I appreciate how Royal Caribbean seems to put real effort into each of their appetizers, entrees, and desserts. While everyone has their own personal tastes, and I will enjoy certain dishes more than others, I confidently say that every guest of Royal Caribbean is sure to find something on board that they enjoy. I very much enjoyed the food served on board my Norwegian Cruise Line sailing as well. However, I felt that some of the entrees lacked flair, such as some of the pasta dishes. For the most part, I did enjoy every meal I had on board with Norwegian Cruise Line. With Royal Caribbean, I felt that I could expect a certain level of excellence when it came to their dishes, such as their classic appetizers. Number 3. Onboard activities. Royal Caribbean is known for having the largest cruise ships in the world, and with their size comes a never-ending amount of activities for its guests to enjoy and explore. The amount of onboard activities on Royal Caribbean ships is staggering. Even some of Royal Caribbean's oldest ships have unique forms of onboard entertainment, such as rock climbing walls, sports courts, ice skating, escape rooms, and so much more. Guests will find themselves desiring more than just one day at sea while on board, in order to explore everything that their Royal Caribbean ship has to offer. Number 4. Unique entertainment. Royal Caribbean has some of the most unique entertainment at sea that I have seen yet. For example, many Royal Caribbean ships feature ice skating shows or water acrobat theater shows, along with more classic forms of entertainment such as comedians, live music, and Broadway-style theatrical performances. I would highly recommend attending at least a couple of the shows put on by Royal Caribbean on board their ships. These shows being included in the price of guests' cruise fare is a big plus. Number 5. Nightlife. When I sailed with Norwegian Cruise Line last August, I noticed that it seemed like most of the ship had quieted down around 10 p.m. This did not seem to be the case on board the 2 sailings I recently had with Royal Caribbean in January. There were scheduled activities, entertainment, and nightlife going on until about 1 a.m. each night of the sailing. There is nightlife options for nearly every personal taste. Number 6. Royal Promenade. Something rather unique to Royal Caribbean ships is the Royal Promenade on board nearly all Royal Caribbean vessels. This area of the ship is located at the heart of the vessel and features many of the ship's bars, lounges, shops, and is close to the theater as well as many other main areas of the ship. This region of the ship makes for a great central meeting location for families and friends. This area of the ship functions as the atrium that can be found on board many other cruise ships, except this area offers its guests so much more. More than just a large central staircase, this zone of the vessel functions as the downtown of sorts on board. Number 7. Pools, water slides, and learning to surf. Royal Caribbean ships offer not just relaxation for its guests, but also thrills. Many of Royal Caribbean's ships, including even some of the oldest, feature at least a couple water slides on board for guests to enjoy. One of the most unique forms of aqua activities and entertainment that I've ever seen on board a cruise ship is the Flow Rider. This popular attraction can be found on many of Royal Caribbean's vessels. This activity allows guests to try their ability at both boogie boarding, knee boarding, and surfing. Number 8. Adult-only areas. One of my favorite things about Royal Caribbean versus Norwegian Cruise Line is the adult-only areas of the ship. The solarium is the name of the adult-only area on board all Royal Caribbean ships. This region of the ship usually features at least one pool, hot tub, and bar, along with many lounge chairs for guests to relax and unwind. This area of the ship is usually quiet with limited music, meaning that adult passengers can take some time to escape the hustle and bustle of the rest of the ship. The solarium on board Royal Caribbean ships is restricted to passengers 16 years and older. Access to this area of the ship is complimentary to all guests who meet the age requirement. On Norwegian Cruise Line ships, most, if not all, of the adult-only areas require an extra cost in order to enter. This means that in order for adult passengers to enjoy some peace and quiet on board, they may be required to pay an additional fee on top of their cruise fare. Number 9. Complimentary onboard activities. I appreciate that many of the activities on board Royal Caribbean ships are complimentary. Something that can be common to find on board Norwegian Cruise Line ships is that many of the popular activities come with an additional cost on top of guests' cruise fare. For example, Norwegian Cruise Line is well known for its racetracks at sea. These thrilling speedways oftentimes span over multiple decks and allow guests to travel at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour around turning and weaving racetrack on a go-kart-like vehicle. Currently, this attraction costs about $10 US for 8 laps around the track. While this might not seem expensive, it still is an additional cost that guests will need to consider if they want to enjoy this attraction at sea. Additionally, many Norwegian Cruise Line ships feature laser tag on board. This activity will also incur a fee of around $10 US for guests to enjoy and participate in 2 games. I appreciate that some of the unique experiences such as the Flow Rider on board Royal Caribbean allow guests to participate and make memories for free while on board. And finally, number 10, unique stateroom types. Something interesting about Royal Caribbean ships is that many of them have unique styles of staterooms. Norwegian Cruise Line has some great and unique rooms as well, such as their solo cruiser cabins designed especially for guests traveling alone. Royal Caribbean has some unique themed rooms such as the Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream Suite, located on Liberty of the Seas, or interior promenade view staterooms located on many Royal Caribbean ships. On some of Royal Caribbean International's newest ships, such as the Oasis-class vessels, there are staterooms that give guests a look out onto the ship's central park. This is an area similar to the Promenade, but it is open-air outside venue. One of the wonderful things about cruising is that there is a cruise line out there for every person's taste and budget that fits exactly what nearly every prospective passenger is looking for. As 2 of the biggest names in the cruise line industry, Royal Caribbean International and Norwegian Cruise Line compete on nearly every front. These 2 cruise lines have a lot of similarities, but also some big differences. Guests are sure to enjoy both of these cruise lines, but make sure to take into account the differences before booking their next cruise vacation. These are some of my personal thoughts and observations, but I hope that they help you plan your next adventure on the high seas. Thanks for watching, everyone! Make sure to like and subscribe and turn on notifications so you get notified when we post a new video. Until next time, happy cruising!